For some reason, my internet's being funny, so I'm gonna let it sit for a second to see if it decides to cooperate with me. Boop, 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 boop. We're booping. Alright, 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 okay, okay. Let me just check a couple things. Okay, I think we're good. I think we're golden. So, welcome to those who are currently here. We're gonna play Ori. I love this game with everything in me. And we're starting from square one, so I think this should be pretty fun. I hope you enjoy the emotions, the many emotions that are present in this beautiful, beautiful game. I'm just gonna start it. So I'm gonna delete this. Yeah, I'm deleting a save. That's terrifying. But here we go. Oh no. Well, I can I don't know how to help. I will just use my brain. Hello, Sequoia. Yo, what's up, Kuvar? Hello. Hello. We're playing this magical game. Jumping times. Yeah, it seems a lot smoother now. I think it was just my internet was just like fuck you for like a hot second. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking because I really like this part. It's very beautiful. You can still look at my face though. Bouncing. Well, you can make him jump. Whoop. Toke's lurking. Beautiful. This is like a frickin' Ghibli movie. Or a Disney movie. Either one. Very, very happy vibes. Very joyful vibes. Subtitles on the screen. Eh? Hold on. Talking about Oregon and Disney stuff. It's supposed to be part of the game. There are some weird subtitles on the screen. Oh, that might be closed captioning. I think you can turn that off on your end. I'm not sure. Hold on. Let me see to what you are referring. It is you. Oh, it's just Kuvar. Okay, never mind. Kuvar's just being dumb. Okay, I'll just ignore that then. Ignore Kuvar. It's my new motto. Yeah, I don't know how accurate those are. Those subtitles or closed captions or whatever they are. He's so big. It is better than the nothing. I don't actually know how accurate they are. I just know Twitch just does that, so I don't really know. Also, if the game is too loud, let me know. Or if anything sounds weird, let me know. It's pretty hit or miss, yeah. I haven't actually used them myself, so I don't really know. I was like, wait a second, something's not right here. On that fateful night. The soundtrack is so good. Alright, I'll over-enunciate my words so that everybody can hear exactly what I'm saying. There are perfect words. The best words. Only the best words. For your viewing pleasure. See? All I have to do is talk extremely clearly. Like I'm talking to a baby. Or something. Oh wait. This is sadness. What's up, meme? Some baby-like creature. Oh, the trees are dead. Some data that feature. Thanks, closed captioning. You always got my back. Oh no, the big spoils. Well, if you don't watch this part, meme, and then you come back later, then you probably won't get spoiled. Because there's not that much story in this game, but it's just very specific moments. If that helps at all. I don't know if it does, but it might. Maybe. It is so fucking beautiful. I agree. I just have to watch this. Oh. Oh yeah, just don't read anything. If you don't, or just close your eyes for this part because this is gonna be pretty heavy spoiler territory. It's bold of you to think. Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Stoke. That's correct. Yeah. This game just, like, smacks you over the head in the beginning. Yeah, there's not. See, usually... Yeah, that's probably the entire story you already have in your head. This is extremely sad. And usually I talk more, but I'll just let this play out. put it like that, you right. The soundtrack is so good. Is that true, Toka? I didn't know that. Interesting. Interesting. Wow. That's impressive, honestly. I didn't know they... Dang. They created this working remote. Wow. Holy shit. Oh god. I'm getting chills. I love it. Chills. Yeah, I don't know about this, the second one, but this one was definitely indie. Wow. What? Yes. And miffed it. Alright. Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, this is very much a... Ooh, ow. A Metroidvania type of deal. What? Lots of secrets and weird shit. And monsters and constant dying. And I'm gonna save the game. And hopefully... Oh no! Oh no! Yeah, I'm not gonna try to completely finish this game because that is insanity and I don't hate myself. And I'm not gonna make any of you sit through that. So just so you know. I am sane. I was lost in the glen which you loosened her grip. I can guide you on your journey if you allow me to come. They must have followed who's there. But I already. Okay, now we're moving. Now we're fighting. Now we're living. Let's make this happen. Hello. How do you guys like death? Not a lot? That's what I thought. Here's a pen. The Hollow Grove. Oh yeah, this is where it's like, oh, you have to finish the entire game. Oh, you have to explore the entire location. No, thank you. Yoink. Wow. Okay. Ability tree. I'm gonna do Spirit Magnet, because my god, is that helpful. What? Ow. Oh, right. So how are people doing? Oh, fuck. Oh god, oh fuck. How are people handling life? Ooh, hey bubba. Spooky shadowy monkeys from Princess Mononoke. That is extremely specific, but I appreciate the reference. Ooh. Yeah, they do be looking like those monkeys sometimes. Use their lights to replenish your strength. Yes, this is big old health pot thing. Health pot thing. Health pot. I can't do that. Just chilling. Alright. How am I doing? Pretty tired. I'm sorry. I know you got a lot of work, Var. I know you got a lot to do in your day-to-day. I am doing alright, actually. I woke up at 5 this morning to exercise, because don't judge me, it was a lot. But I did that, and then I went to work like I usually do, and now I'm here. Yeah, that's my life is pretty boring, to be honest. Except for this, I love this. Just a stupid fox doing nothing. All right, daily grind. Exactly. What's in this hole? This thing. I need that. It's Keystone. How did I have a fight? I ran half a mile in your legs. Oh yeah, no, my legs hurt so much. They are in considerable pain. I'm just gonna have really toned buttocks by the time I'm done with all this. Having a good time. What? Really toned buttocks. And yes, I have to pronounce it like that. It's the dream. Woo. 2. Got 2 of them. Get in the hole. I mean the door. Go in the door. Supposed to be pogs. Those are not pogs. I don't know what I just grabbed. Ooh, I completely did not read that at all. Alright, cool. Where are the pogs? That's a lot of pogs. Anything can be pog. Everything is pog. We thrive within the pog. Okay, that was another health cell. So now I got more health. You know, I was really thinking about trying to play this game with this pogs. I was trying to play this game without any upgrades. But I don't think that's safe. I don't know if that's a good idea. Alright. Bye. Look at those pogs in the chat. I like that. I like those pogs, eh? I like them. I hate you. I like that shit. Yeah, no. I've tried to do it once, but I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it at all. Not unless you just hate yourself. Oh wait. Okay. So I am in here. This goes to a dead end, so it must be something good. Yes. This is the map stone. There's a piece missing. We must repair the map stone. I don't have that, but I can get this. That's not a map stone fragment. What? Destruction. Ah. Spicy spice. Okay, I guess I'm going down this hole. Okay. Here we go. And ow. Oh, it's one of those ones that does the thing and then he spikes ya. Spikes ya on the downward spiral. Don't like that, do we? No, we don't. Yeah. Ah! I have the power! Power of Grayskull I should probably save. Allow reusing soul links and shortens the cooldown timer. This one. Quick flame. I just need more. I need more spice in my attacks. Need more spice. Yes. Give me that. I don't know what that was. Give me that spice. Now the ancestral trees are all that's left behind. Feel the light of Phil. Phil? Who's Phil? Sounds like a frickin' accountant. Just realized you're talking about Phil. Who's Phil? The fuck is Phil? Hell yeah, energy cell. Now I got more boo-to-boos. I can now do more things. Phil the accountant tree. I like it. He's got style. Ow, 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 ow. Ow. The accountant tree. Woo. We're gonna see my platforming skills come to life in this game. Holy crap. What? Can't tell me this game isn't the most beautiful thing you've ever seen. Even just like watching it just play, it doesn't even look. Oh, there's something in the screen. Ooh. Oh yeah, these motherfuckers. Whoa. Whoa. I found a thing. Alright, let's break that open. I'm gonna save right here so I don't explode here. Oh. Okay. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop. Wait, maybe stop. Maybe stop. Maybe stop a little bit. Okay, keep going. Oh, am I gonna make it? Am I gonna make it? Yes, I am. Woo! Alright. Ow, okay. Yeah, that was dumb. Bada bing, bada boom. Hell yeah. Making dreams come true out here. Ow. Ow. Wow. That is the anti-dream machine right there. These fucking guys. Why do they respawn so fast? I forgot about that. They just keep coming back to life. It's like, oh, why are you so alive? Why must you live? I don't understand. Okay, so oh, ow, oh, fucking ow. 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 Spike. Ow. I'm okay. We're fine. Everything's good. This isn't even the hard part. Okay. Wait, no. I don't want to be next to Phil again. Phil. I went the wrong way. Fuck. Get away from me, Phil, you fucking tree. Ow. That's what I get for saying anything about Phil. Just violence. Ow. Can I get an F in the chat for Phil? Huh. We hardly knew him. Ow. The Segoys. He was a good man. He wasn't even a man, he was a fucking tree. I don't know if he'll be missed. I don't know if miss is the right word. Oh god, that scared me. Get away from me. Back! Disgusting creature. Spicy. Whoop. Bill accounting. Salute. What? Okay. This is the thing. This is the thing I was looking for. That's the one. All right, give me the map. Give me the map, baby. All right. Nice. Whoop. Ah, for fuck. Why do they all gotta like spike me? Why you gotta fight? Why do we have to fight? I don't want to fight. Why do you want to kill me? What did I do to you? I just exist. Is that all it takes for the violence? Is that all you need? Oh my god. Just because he's just salty. Because I have a blue orb. I got shiny things. Out of spike. Oh, you're very funny. Oh my god. Oh, okay. Oh. Hey, bud. I love you. I love you, stupid, weird, spongy mouth things. Ooh, can I get through this whole part without getting hit? Maybe. Whoop. Maybe. Whoop. Yep. Whoop. Oh, this is a dumb jump. Whoop. That was close. Yeah. Okay, cool. Slick. Got it. Oh wow, oh fuck. God damn it. I was doing so well. I fell into it. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh no. Oh no. Oh fuck. Oh no. I totally fucked that up. I thought I was better than I was. Hello, Shiro. 3? I don't. What the heck does the 3 mean now? What's going on? Ow! Oh no, it blocked it. Hold on. What is this? What is the mod blocking? Hold on. What the fuck is going on here? What are you typing in the chat? Typing dirty things in the chat? What's going on? Anyway. Let me lower this again. What the heck? Don't tell me you're talking about beans again. Probably. Dirty shit. See, you can put dirty shit, but I don't know what Shiro was typing. That blocked that shit. Ooh. Ow. I'm gonna need to work on my auto mod. I think it's on level 1 right now. I don't know. I just put it in there and I was like, eh. Or I could get some real life people mods. Real human beings. A whole human being. Alright. Hello, Purpsl Gamer. Thank you for lurking. Oh my god. Non-horror games, yes. It's like as long as it's not a horror game. Just don't watch a fucking horror. Alright, open. Open sesame. Let's do this again. Because I died. Because I got cocky. I was like, I'm invincible. Like a fucking dumbass. Alright. Oh, see? See, now I'm fucking up. Now it's all for naught. Now I'm just gonna fucking die. Ugh. Who needs to sleep soundly? Sleep is for the weak. I don't sleep at all. Hello, Gray? Gray is hosting my stream. How about that? It's probably one of those auto things. We should have a horror movie marathon. Oh yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. I would be totally down for that. Whoop. Ah, spice. See, that was spicy. That was a spicy, spicy move there. I always overshoot that. Okay. Awful idea. Spice. Wait, this is the part where I fucked up last time. I'm gonna save so I don't fuck up again and have to go all the way back over. Oh! I'm just gonna take the hit. Oh, oh fuck. 90% of the no. We'll watch some like yeah, it's that good shit stuff. Kumar, don't ever put that shit in the fucking chat again. What the fuck? Oh my god. No. No. So many issues with that with that statement. Oh my god. No, I have not hit affiliate yet. It's cause I actually have everything to hit affiliate except for the streaming days. Cause I got lazy and I was like, I don't want to stream right now. But now I'm streaming, and now I don't know why I don't stream more, because I really do enjoy it. It's just work, you know? Work be getting in the way. But I'm gonna hit affiliate this week, that's for damn sure. I'm gonna keep streaming until my eyes fall out. Yeah, I work in a bean factory? No. No, I don't. There it goes. Write that down. No, don't write that down. No, I don't. No, that was a joke. That was a joke. It's not my lore. Oh, fucking evil fox, you little shit. I'm not a fucking bean factory worker. Come over there and break your kneecaps. I'll do it. I must understand what? The three elements of light. No, I was never a human. Never. No, wait, hold on. What is going on in the chat? What the fuck are you talking? What is going on? That's not what's... What is happening? What is happening in my lore? It's being tainted. I shouldn't have said anything. I should just kept my fucking mouth shut. So, we must rekindle. Like it was never a day. Find the spirit tree. Alright, find the Ginso tree. Ooh, there's that fat section that I haven't explored yet. I think I will come back to that for sure. Of 1210! What the fuck? Oh my god. Yeah, I'm old. That's right, guys. I'm old as hell. I'm like 800 years old, my guy. I am ancient. How do I get up there? Ah, what the fuck? He's still alive. Oh, fuck. Wait, oh, wait, come here. Yeah, do that. There you go. Oh, God. Ow. so sad. He was admiring his work over the freshly made beans and fell down into the bean machine to his death. I don't know why that didn't show up on my screen, but I definitely saw that. I definitely saw that meme. I don't know why. I don't know if that's true. Charge flame. Aghast. No. Oh my god. Beans. Okay, we need to stop talking about that. We need to stop talking about that. I'm done. I'm done with it. I'm killing it. I'm killing the bit. The bit is dead. Let the bit die. What? Ooh, I love that. Allows reusing soul links and shortens the cooldown timer. Yes, I do want to rekindle, because if I rekindle, then I can save again and again and again. And again and again and again and again. I can't stop what's been put into motion. I'm stopping it right now. Wow, that frog really fucked that jump up. Really borked it on the landing. Woo. Now you see. Listen. I didn't die. I was never alive. I mean, I'm alive, but I'm not alive. Does that make sense? No, I guess it doesn't make any sense. You know what? You know what? I'm gonna rekindle. Kindle my soul. No, that's not how that works. That's not okay, that's not how that's work. Oh my god. That's not how any of this works. That's not how that happens. Okay. No. Give me that good. Lever. Ah, yeah. A hairnet on my... Oh my god. The image of that ruin just does not sit well with me. Of a hairnet on my tail. That just makes me very... I don't like that. I don't care about the hair. I just let everything flow free. What is sanitation? Who needs it? Can I make that jump? Probably not. Ooh, that is disgusting and chunky. And I want to kill it. So juicy. Yeah. Baba Booey. We don't want no beans. What? Oh yeah. Oh, I need more energy. Okay. I only have 2. Alright, fine. I'll go get more energy, you stupid door. What? Ow. That hurt. Oh, fuck. Okay, hold on. That went well. I realized it was a pit of fucking death, and I tried to get out too late, and I died. What the fuck? Beans on a string? Beans on a string? The fuck is going on in there? Also, I think the chat just decided to just not exist anymore on my screen. I don't know why, but I can still read it. I still see it. Oh, nope, it's back. Apparently. I guess it just decided It's back. I don't know why it's back. I didn't do anything. I don't know what happened. I'm just sitting here. Playing this game. These things happen. This is our life now. This is all we have. What? I do have it set to disappear after, like, a while. A while. What? Oh. Okay, here's the chunky boy again. Let me just, kill this thing. This gross abomination! I don't know why meme streams it. Ooh, I don't know. Sometimes I see it, sometimes I don't. I don't know what's going on. It doesn't like you, man. Ha ha ha. Hey, I don't know what's happening. Yay. Hey. Ignorance is bliss, am I right, my brothers and sisters? And everybody in between. Who needs to know what's going on? Reality is a construct. Who thought I would lose my mind playing Ori? Woo! Ah. Hey. 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 Time for death. Like a little bit of killing in my life. I found another yourself. I do not lose my mind doing most things. That is an incorrect statement. That is not true. I am totally not constantly losing my brain. I am not chaotic in any way, shape, or form. Get the fuck away from me, you stupid bug. Ooh. This is some gross water. This water is gross. Ow. Jump. Jump. What really grinds my gears? Spiders. Fucking die. I mean, I like spiders. They're great. They do great things for the ecosystem. You know, they're helpful. Blah, 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 blah. But, I don't know. Sometimes they just gotta die. Crawling on your face. Ah! Fucking flies really grind my gears. Flies. I hate when you have a fly in your house and you can't fucking... Why can't I do this stupid jump? Hold on. What the fuck is wrong with me? Okay, there we go. I hate when... I hate it when... What the fuck was it? We're talking about flies now? Flies. Ooh, explosion. No, I don't like it when flies are in your house and you can't tell where the fuck they are and then you finally find it and it's just like... You can't kill it. And you know it's there. You can hear it. But no. Ow! Don't they know that shooting me hurts? Why would they ever want to hurt me? I don't understand. I am a wholesome forest spirit thing. I actually have no idea what the fuck Ori is. I think he's like a... He's like a... Traps behind him, that's so specific. Just fucking dies behind the blind. I hate this jumping part. Oh my god. Okay. Whoa. Ah, fuck! Haha! Just let the bug die behind the blinds. Oh my god. Why don't you just kill it? Ow. Like, put it out of its misery. What? Nice. Map stone. Toka, you got off the deep end. I don't know what's going on over there at your house. I don't know what. You're just constantly trapping bugs. Wow, I fell all the way down. And I died. What? I'm sorry. Oh my god. I was too busy paying attention to this conversation about bugs. But I fucking died. Again. The hollow grove. Well, I'm gonna continue the hollow grove part. Ooh. So spice. Oh my god, I really have to do all this again? Bruh. Ugh. I keep forgetting to save. Ah! I get so caught up in everything else, I'm like, oh, I don't need to save. Who needs to save? And then you get shot back like a fuck ton. What? Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why I'm making these jumping sounds. I'm not actually moving at all. I just feel like it adds to the atmosphere. What? I do can. Ow. They always hit me, those fucking things. So many of them, god damn. God damn. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, okay. Skip, 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 skip. I'm gonna save. Because I'm not gonna have that happen again, no siree. No thank you. Bada bing, bada dead. That's what that is. Yeah, bet. What? Oh, I don't have enough. I don't have enough. I don't got enough gem bits. All right, there we go. Boom. Whee. Ooh, almost got hit on that. Yada da, yada da da da, yada da, yada ba. These aren't even words anymore. I don't know what I'm saying. So, ooh. Yeah, I don't know if I like these egg sacs. Like, hababa? Hababa. I don't know if I like those egg sacs, man. They're pretty wiggly. I don't think anything should wiggle that much. There are exceptions. There are exceptions. I don't know if I like these egg sacs, man. I don't know if I like them. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh. Thank God I saved. Haha! That would have sucked. Woo! Can't catch me now. I'm a gingerbread man, motherfucker. Look at me jump. Look at me pop. Look at me go into the sky. And you bounce. And a bounce. And a bounce and a bounce and a bounce and a bounce. 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 Ooh. Hi. I want that life. I want that life core. That is closed. I need to open that. Wee. Okay. Now, whatever you do, don't die. Whoop. Whoop. Oh, yeah, okay, that was inevitable. I should have attacked that before I jumped on it, and I was just like, nah. Ooh. Well, I guess that kind of worked out. Never mind. I take that back. I'm a genius. Yes, most pickups show up on the map, please. Please. Okay. Woo. Map marker. Okay. I need to go back and put the map thing in the map hole. The map thing goes in the map hole. Not today. No, thank you. Goodbye. Goodbye. Oh, fuck. Fucking damn it. No. Maybe we'll go this way instead. Let's see what's over here. Maybe I change tactics here a bit. Ow, 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 ow. Ow, 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 ow. Die. Why do they multiply? You fucking rabbits. Get out of here. Gross. Stop multiplying. I don't like it. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, it's okay. Oh. Increases the strength of sparkling. Yes. Increase my power. Increase my abilities. Oh no. Oh no. No, I can't. Okay. I just completely wasted that. Okay, great. Cool. Woo! Speaking of lurking, I'm leaving. Okay. Okay, thanks, Gavar. Thanks for popping in. Ah. And it's alive again. That's disgusting. Thanks, I ate it. Ooh. Okay. I think I can get you to pop up. How do I get you? Oh, ooh. Come on, Bubba. That did not work at all. I was severely misled. Ah. Wow, now I'm dying a lot. This is not going well. This is Elocon. Oh god. This is not going well at all. I was doing so well, and then something happened. I know there's a way to get him to pop up. I have literally one stupid circle of health right now. So like every time I get hit by anything, I'm just gonna die. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Oh fucking shit, god damn it. Okay. You know what? Fine. You wanna play this game? Let's play this game. Damn it. We're not playing this game. I don't know what game I'm playing. Oh fucking hell. Holy shit, what is happening? This is terrible. I've never done this bad. I blame the stream. I blame the stream. Ah. Oh shit. It's a beautiful game. Oh, so pretty. Oh. Oh. Okay. I don't know what happened. Come on, you little shell fuck. Roly-poly up and out of here. Alright. Now I'm gonna get this stupid health thing. Fucking hell. What happened? Okay, okay, I'm gonna save. Wow, that was not good. Wait. That was anti-poggers. That is known as the anti-pog. And that's a giant fucking laser. Alright, cool. That is disgusting. I hate it. No. Hey, bud. How you doing? Oh, he just blows up. Okay, wait. No. Maybe if you stop falling, we'd be able to get through this together. Ow! Fuck! Ah, that's a one hit. That's a one hitter, huh? Alright, cool. Cool. Can I pop him up in the air? I think I can. Nope, I cannot. Okay. That was incorrect. Wait, I'm gonna go back up here. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna see. Hey! He came back round. He came back round. The son of a bitch came back round. Hold on. Oh god, I just need to check on something. I need to drink some water. Hold on. Oh my god. Oh, this is going so well. I'm so happy. Oh. Okay. Why doesn't it kill the thing? No, don't come back around. No, stop it. Stop what you're doing. Oh! You know. Not today. No! I keep forgetting it turns back around. Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna go a different direction. I don't think I have the ability to finish that area yet. Okay. I genuinely feel like I'm missing something on that one. Let me just... Let's get some of that good stuff. That good. These guys aren't that bad. But that other one... Not so much. Not so much. Yeah. Spit your stupid lava shit. Get away from me. Wait. What? Did I not grab the lava? No, I didn't grab the stupid stone. Ugh. I'm living my best life, guys. I'm living my best. Ow. I'm not living my best life, I lied. Mapstone. What? Oh, God! Ah! Why does everything hurt? There we go. There it is. Okay. Ooh. Curious. Interesting. I see. Indubitably. Ooh. What the... Ooh, I don't got any of those. Okay, we're going back. Back to reality. I want that. How do I get that? I actually don't know. How do I get that? I got a feeling I gotta go backwards. Whew. Ha! That's what you get, you stupid spider. That's what the fox, you get the fangs. Alright. Piece of candy. Oh, I was already here. Wait. Am I stuck down here? How do I get back up? Oh, no, never mind. There's a really obvious wall here that I can't climb because I got slippery hands. Why can't I pop off it? Eh? There we go. Ooh, wait. How many do I have? I have 3. I need one more soul thingy. One more. Ooh, can you make that jump? Maybe. Maybe, baby. Let me try that. Ow. Ah. I don't know why I can't jump off the stupid wall. There we go. Ah. Ow. Pain is life and life is pain. Such is the life of a whatever this is. A thing. Okay, yeah, no, you can't make that jump for sure. All right. Cool. Ah. Ooh. Huh? Okay, we're going back. Going back. One of those moments when you're like, I have to do the hard part, but I don't want to do the hard part because you want something else to do, but then you got to do the hard part anyway. That's what this is. You got to do the hard part, you got to live with it. Oh, fucking goddamn it. Heal me. Feed me, Seymour. I hate this. I hate this a lot, because it just, like, sticks, and it's just the fucking worst. Ah. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, there they go, splitting again. God. What the hell is going on here? Lava boys, frickin' split boys, frickin' froggy boys. Oh my god, I have power. I have abilities. Creating a sword. Yes, please, God. Give me that health. Okay. What? Not today. I've learned my lesson. But not completely. Oh god. Ha 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 ha. Ah. Lasers. Wait a second. Oh. Wait. How does that kill me? Oh. It's that residual explosion. That residual. Okay. Alright. I think I'm just gonna go all the way to the right. I think I know what you need to do this, and I don't think I got it. I don't got what it takes yet. So, we gonna move on. Into the swamp. Oh, I hate the swamp. It's like Resident Evil 7 all over again. So these little jumpy little pieces of shit. Ah. 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 I'm rolling, I'm rolling, I'm rolling, rolling. Don't hit me, I'm rolling, I'm rolling. I don't know why I'm pushing this rock. I have no idea what I'm doing. Okay. Pushing, 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 pushing this rock for no reason. Pushing the rock. Spiky voice. Oh, that's what it's for. Put it there. Huh? Huh? Oh, whoa. This is funky. This is funky. Not the good kind of funky. Oh. Okay. You just gotta get your fingers on it. Your fingies. Ori. Okay. Akumon. We must catch what he stole. Regain the water vein. Oh god. The water vein. Sure. I'm sure we have to get the water vein. Do we have to? Can I just let this forest die? Is that an option? Can I just like leave? Leave the forest? Like, nah, I can take care of it. They're fine. Don't jump. Don't do that. Ooh. Ah. Get that good stuff. Health. Stop. Wait, no, don't stop. Do that. Oh god. Oh, this fucking sucks. Oh, this fucking sucks. Oh, fucking Jesus. Ooh. When you hear the boss music. Why does it sound like boss music? Why do I hear boss music? Oh, fuck. Alright. Wait. Oh. Hit me. Yes, hit me. Ah! Give me them gems. Oh, it's still running. Listen, when you run, you make me want to chase you more. Ah. I'm coming. Wait a second. I'm coming slowly. Oh. I won't be fucking eviscerated today. Thank you very much. I've already been eviscerated enough. Ah! I say that as I run right into the spikes. Big brain moment. Big brain moment. Yeah. I know, you split, you multiply, you get all weird on me. Okay. Bada bing, bada boom. Bada explosion. Haha! How did I not die? I don't know. Ah, okay. I spoke too soon. Okay, this is the sketchy, no good bad zone. Ah, Jesus. Okay. And he's doing his little loop-de-loops, and he's flipping and flopping. Okay, I'm gonna save. Because this is a pain in the butt. Okay. Ooh. Come on, hit me. Hit me. Hit me. Shoot me. Why won't you shoot me? Damn it. Shoot me. Why, you want a cookie or something? Come on. Ah! Dang it. Why won't they shoot me? Why are you so far away? Oh, that's because this one does the thing. Okay, I got it. I figured it out. Okay. I got it. I didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for violence. Oh. I felt that in my soul. Come on. Come on. God dang it. Ah. Okay. Ah. Okay, this was not intended to be a rage stream, but sometime. Okay. Gather yourself, Purps. Gather yourself. Get your shit together, put it in a box, do whatever you gotta do, get your shit together. Okay, fucking god. Damn it! Stop! Stop getting hurt! Stop it! Stop! Stop! You know, I didn't even run from that one. I just let that one happen. That was just me letting that happen, huh? Alright. Come on. Ha! Ha ha! Ha ha! Oh, it's going well, Come on. Come on. Woo! Didn't get hit. I am alive. Okay. Oh no! Yeah, good idea. Just run straight into a giant fucking beam of destruction. I keep saying I don't want to be eviscerated, but here I am. Okay. Ba-ba. Sweet. Should probably save, no? I'm gonna save. Can I? I should be able to make this jump, right? Nope. Okay. Spider go, whoop-de whoop. Spikes go, spook. Spike. Okay. Spirit well. Keep my body alive. I don't wanna die. This guy sounds wow. Whoop. Ah! Oh no! Ooh. Oh! Okay. Alright. Fine. Be that way. Be that way. You know what I like? I like creme brulees. I like cake. I like not dying, mainly. That's always ideal. Holy crap. Am I dying a lot today? I like pie. No one ever talks about pie. I mean, people talk about pie, but they don't talk about pie. You know what I'm saying? Hey! Like, they talk about it, but they don't talk about it. Like when pie's there for you, it's there for you. Jump, damn it! Why aren't you breaking it? When you have a nice warm slice of apple pie, just like some ice cream. Really soothes the soul. I don't know why I'm talking about pie, but man, I'm hungry. Oh, I'm dying. Yeah, but eat pie. That's my message for today. If you get anything from this stream, eat pie. It coats the soul in goodness. Come on, you stupid spiky piece of shit. Hey, death. Alright. That's what I like to see. Ooh. Okay. Okay, he's a little angry. I don't know why. I don't know what I did to him. But he seems angry. I'd like to give him a hug. But I think he would kill me. So, you don't get hugs. If you try to kill somebody, you don't deserve a hug. I'm just gonna say it out. You heard it here. If you try to kill somebody, you don't need a hug. You need therapy. You need more than therapy. Okay. Grab. Save. Jump. Die, apparently. Damn it. Okay. Ew. I need 4 again? Dang it. I only have 3. What am I supposed to do? Go to the store? Okay, I'm gonna go up here though. Oh wait, no, there's another one. Oh, okay. Yep. Whoa. Almost crushed to death. So that's fun. Yeah. Ooh. Slip and sliding adventures out here. Oh my god, Papa! Okay. Keep going. Don't stop, can't stop. Don't stop, won't stop. Can I blow this up? I think I can. I'll blow that up later. That explosion's for later. Dang it! Ah! Can you make that jump? Is it possible? Or am I just being dumb? Can you make that jump? You've got to be able to make that jump, right? Right? Ah. Yet another impassable obstacle. Ah! Okay. Oh, that's right. I forgot to get this thing again. Because I died. Death is fun. I'm having a great time. 10 out of 10. I can't open that door that was like way back, I think. Ooh. Aha! Okay. Wait, I don't think I've been down here. Ah, I see. Slide. Oh, and this one only needs 3. What's in here? What's behind door number 1? More doors. That would be very disappointing. What's behind this door? More doors. Oh. Great. Damn. What the Whew. I don't know if I was supposed to survive that one. But I did. So I don't think this is the recommended way to do this, but if I'm living, I'm living. I'm not gonna question it. Ow. Ow, 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 ow. Yeah. Jump it! Jump it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop! Stop! Stop hurting me! I wish death on your family and your cows. I don't know why it's always cows, but it has to be a cow. There has to be a cow involved somewhere. Wow. Jeez. This is awful. Ow. Okay, wait. I think that's quite a bit of range, so I think I can get away with just like smacking it from here. Yeah. Ah. Ah. Because like am in severe pain. Okay, just focus. Fuck. That saved me. Okay. There's a life hole. There's a life thing. There's a life thing. This is physically painful. This actually hurts. This sucks. This is the worst. I really love this game, but like, wow. They do not make it easy for you, do they? Oh, they're both dead. Nice. Now that is boggers. Oh. I did find a life cell. You were correct, good game. I did all that for a life cell? Eh, fuck it, it's alright. It's worth it. Oh! Hey, what the? Gee, thanks. Thanks, dude. This looks precarious. But fun. What's life without a little risk? Whoop. Oh god, that's too much risk. Ugh. Whoop. And I... Yeah, that was... That... Oh, no. No. No, I did not end up back here. That's not what happened. No. No. Should have played Batman. I'm gonna punch people. Just try not to die to spiky freaks. Okay. I don't know why. This is so hard for me right now. My hands are sweating. Oh my god. Just explode. Just explode. Just explode into millions of tiny little fucking little tiny shitty little pieces. And then you Alright, save. Actually save the game. And then fall. And then don't die again. And then save again. Because now I'm paranoid. Okay. I think it's a healthy paranoia. that real quick. I'm gonna go down this hole. Whoop, whoop, whoop. These don't look safe. Is this up to code? Who built this place? Why would you build it like this? Is this in the middle of the forest? Like, who did this? And why? There's some explaining to do. What the fuck is going on? Oh. Oh no. This is not good. This is anti-good. This is bad. Okay. Hey dude. Cowabunga. Boom. Okay, okay. Ah! Oh, oh god. Oh fuck. Oh god, when's the last time I saved? I think it was recently. Okay. Hey, dude. How you doing? Hey, bud. Living a good life? I think you're living great. Now you're dead. Now you have no life. Now you've got nothing. Now you have nothing. All right. Climb, 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 climb. Attack, attack. Yoink. Oh. All right. Let me just get the fuck out of here. Stop it. Get some help. Whoop. 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 This isn't safe. None of this is safe. Why am I here? Oh! Yeah, that was to be expected. Okay. Okay, it's saved after this. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Yep. Whoop. Yeah, no, okay, back to pie. So Pie Day is a great day. We love that. We love Pie Day. I just really want more pie in my life. What the fuck was that? Whoa! When you like take Ori and you go against the wall, it does a weird thingy. Like a weird thingy that happens. Okay, I'm a save. That's right. I'm learning. Okay. Now not to get crushed to death. That's the goal. Don't get crushed to death. Awesome. Ooh. Feisty. Excuse me. I only have one. Need the other. Oh, there's one. Oh, it's down here. Ooh, okay. I see it. See, this is funky. Okay. Come on, jump, Ori, jump. Jump for your life. Open. Save. Open save. Save open. Okay. Okay. Whoop. Ooh. Let me just blow this up real quick, clear out the infestation. It's a friendly neighborhood Ori coming through to clean up the crap. Excuse me, pardon me. See, you got a lot of spikes down here in the gutter. We're gonna have to clean that up later. What? Yeah, I don't like you. I don't like you. I don't like that cut, G. I do not like your cut, G. What's in the hole? Nothing. Not a damn thing. Oh, wait. It's Phil. An ancestral tree. Leru. Well, this is not Phil. This is Leru. It's not as exciting as Phil. I miss Phil. Double jump! Double jump! Finally! My god! Why does it take you this long to get double jump? Like, what the fuck? Alright. Now we got some hops. We got legs. Oh, he's still watching. Where are you going? I see. Save. Yoink. Oh, he's That's right, I can make it up all this stuff now. Ah, it's the multiplier. Multiply. Ah! I just lead them to slaughter. Lead them to slaughter. Hey! I'm swimming in energy. Sweet. Okay. So I explored that entire part. Yeah. Oh, but there's a thingy. There's a thingy over here. That thingy. I want that. Give. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Ah. Okay. Checking the map one more time. Okay, cool. I think oh wait, I can get this now. Man, I got all sorts of stuff. Yoink. Put that in there. I'm feeling pretty good. Oh no, that's not good. That's not healthy at all. That's too many spike. Yes, Ori and the Blind Forest. Exactly. That is what I'm playing. It's a good game. It's very pretty. Ah! Welcome back, Schoolboy. No, yeah, this game is hard, I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of a pain in the butt. For those of you who have been kind of watching in the background, I have died many, many times already. But I'm always up for a challenge. Always up for a challenge, a good challenge. See, I'm not gonna go back that way, because I'm gonna die. You're stuck in the first part. It took you 3 streams to get this far? Oh no, it's like, ah! Okay, see, that's what happens, then I'll die like that. Cause I'm too, oh god, I was not paying attention. What the fuck? Okay, bada bop. Bada bop bop bop. I do get caught up with the chat. Luckily, it's been relatively quiet. Ooh. Ooh. So right now it's not too bad. But yeah, people start talking a lot. I'm just like, I'm gonna die a lot. But that's alright. Well, fighting games are hard for me. They always make my hands cramp up. Fighting games are like, woof. Woof. Yeah. Oh, the worst thing about fighting games is when somebody just does one move, and you've been playing for months, and they just do that one move and destroy you. That is that. It's always like a ground kick or something. It's like the same stupid move over and over and over again. They were your daddies. Oh no. What kind of stream was that, Sugoi? What kind of ship you running over there? What the hell? Jump Force. Trash game. No, I haven't played it. I have no idea if it's trash, but I've heard people say it was not good. I believe you were say so. I believe you. The stream did not corrupt you. I feel like you were always corrupted deep down. There was a part of you that was just like, ah! You knew deep down that you had to be. Does that beam go away or no? Doesn't look like it do. Oh wait, that's what this is for. A really hyped anime fighting game with rank system, more messed up than Talks in the Xenoverse 2. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. At least from what I've heard from it. Oh god! Yeah, I fucked myself on that one. Ooh. Ah! Skirting. Yeah, maybe I'll play Jump Force, but I don't know. Unless it's like on sale or something, I don't know if I'll play it really. Because I can't really see myself playing it that much, to be honest. I love the fact that they have all those characters in it, but it's just like, I don't know. Seems like a dubious proposition at best. Let me push this rock and not die. How do I push this and not die? Is my question. Oh god. Oh no. I'm stuck. Okay. Oh. Ah. Stupid. I figured it out. Can I backseat game? Yes, you can backseat game if you want. I did figure it out how to do this. Oh, I remember how to do this though. I think. Ow. Okay, I need 4 energy, but I only have 2 right now, so I need to find a way to get some more energy. I'm gonna do this, but an ability cell. Yes, give me abilities. I notice everything. My reach is everywhere. Halves the cost of charge flame. Improves the radius and damage. Life pickups fully stores twice as... I think I'm gonna go for the life, to be honest. I'm gonna go for the life. Ah, I need more energy! Man, it's that bad? A whole college essay worth? Yikes. Okay, so I need 4 energy. Damn. That is not a glowing review. This is like the worst review I've ever heard. You played it for a year. It must have been a year. Must not have been that bad if you played it for a whole year. Oh my god. Why did you play it for a year? Ah. I honestly don't know. Honestly, I get that. I feel like I'll play games that I really just don't care for, but I'll just keep playing them because why not? Because I have nothing else to do. This is not one of those games. Ori is definitely not one of those games, but yeah, I definitely get that. Ooh. Big frog boy! Not today! Oh! My parkour skills. Hardcore parkour. just really want 4 energies, so... What is he doing? What are you doing, my guy? The only reason I had... Oh, the really is because they had 2 characters from movies. Oh, which anime? Whomst? I feel like you might have already typed a reply to that question, and I just can't see it. So I'm just gonna assume it's Luffy. Yeah, let's go with Luffy. That's JoJo's Bizarre. Oh, yeah. Okay, I should have guessed that first. Yeah, that's a must. Yeah, they had Dio in it. Love Dio. Love that guy. I mean, I don't love him because he's evil, but I love him because he's evil. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Okay, so I have the 4 things now. Oh, God. Oh, I think they just put in, Giorno. They just put Giorno into the game, actually, I think. Very recently. So if you go back into it, I'm pretty sure he's in the game now. He is raring to go. Ah! Yeah, so I guess, yeah, like Dio, Jotaro, and Giorno. Giovanna. Which is essentially Dio squared. Woo! Ah! It's like Dio, but not Dio. And I don't want to spoil it, because that would be mean. That's everything, they messed up everything. Can't even make a good Giorno. I'm gonna fall with this. Oh, or not. Wait. Oh, jeez. Oh, hell. Whoop. Ow. Okay. Pull the lever. Wrong lever. No. No, turn off. Turn off. Off. No, wait. Off. Oh my god. 5 Nights of Cup. Oh god. Cuphead. Oh, Cuphead. Oh, Cuphead. Who would do the thing? Cuphead is a nightmare. Go through the thing. Yeah. It's gonna come out. Ooh, just barely missed. Oh, and I haven't saved for a long time. That would have sucked. Alright. What do I got here? We have Mortal Kombat X. Oh, I want to play Mortal Kombat X. That's my list. It's on my fat list of things I want to play. Halves the cost of Charred Flame. Okay, this was the second thing I was gonna do. I'm gonna get this one. Okay. I'm ability'd up. I'm feeling juicy. I'm gonna pull this back. Oh, there is a mission in this game, in Ori, that reminds me of having to die again and again and again and again and again. It's towards the end, so it's gonna be a while before we get there, but... yeah, it's terrible. I'm sure I'm gonna die repeatedly, unless I do it the first time. In that case, I'm thoroughly impressed with my abilities as a pro gamer. Obviously, because I'm clearly a pro gamer here. Clearly a frickin' fox is a pro gamer, because that's how that works. Something backstory, evil, Nogitsune becomes VTuber and now can't play Ori. I don't know. I don't know the details, they're kind of fuzzy. Honestly, details, kind of fuzzy. I can't do that jump though. Can I? I swear I can do this. Yes, yes you can, haha. Okay. I am here to get the collectibles. I am here for the collectibles, madam. Yup! Give me all your good. Okay. How do I get to the waterfall thing? Whoop? How do I get over there? How do I do that? Somebody tell me. What? Can you make that jump? Oh, right? There's no way. No. That's not possible. I don't know why my voice is raising like 20 octaves right now, but hey. Ow! Naruhodo. Yeah, oh! Wow, I almost made that. I have made a miscalculation. I have made a severe miscalculation. Oh yeah. Because you're supposed to go up, right? And you're supposed to pull the lever so that this thing is open so that you can come back through the hole. But I didn't do that, so now I have to go all the way back around. Alright, cool. Let me just do that then. Okay, goodbye. Skip you. Skip that. Excuse me, pardon me. Hello, hi, how you doing? That has some range. that is, that's got some range to it. Ah! Alright, I saw that coming. Alright. Should have expected that one. Okay, alright, well. See, I was doing fine. And then I stopped doing fine. That's, Yep. Wow. Okay. Okay. Alright. Okay, I don't need to be here. I need to move around. Excuse me, pardon me. I love you, Spikes, but you're just not doing it for me. You're not scratching that itch. Excuse me, pardon me. Let me grab this real quick on the way out. Thank you. Okay. Let me just see here. We got this thing. This thing. This thing. This. This. I swear. Okay, there we go. This thing. Then we got a little jump, and then I'm just gonna whoop. And then I whoop. And then I'm gonna bop over here. And I'm gonna bop over here. Ow. And I'm gonna bop over here. Haha! And I'm gonna bop on that, because I don't want to die. And I'm gonna slide. And I'm gonna bop. And then I'm gonna bop. Oh, fuck. I didn't bop enough. I wish I could do this game without getting hit. That would be amazing. I would feel so accomplished. Okay. What? Let me do this the right way this time. Instead of just jumping straight into the spikes and hoping that I do. Alright, good night, Benaka. Have a good night. Ooh. Okay, this is the lever. That's the lever. Okay. What? Ah. Yeah, Wednesdays are fun days, guys. Wednesdays are the hump days. I think today is Wednesday. Today's Wednesday, right? It's Wednesday. Oh, he's trapped. Oh, I'm so sorry for you that you're trapped now. Now I have to dodge all these stupid boulders. Whoop. One second. Just time it. Whoop. Okay, cool. Whoop. Ow. Oh, okay, health. Yoink. Aha! Are you truly bad? Little thing, big thing. It's quite large, actually. I don't know how big this would be in real life, but I'm assuming quite big. The water vein. Yes, the elements of water. The Thornfelt Swamp. Revive the Ginsol tree! Or it's Ginsol. I think it's Ginsol. Ginsol tree. Okay, so I think I got all the... Wait. Did I get that? Yeah, I got that. I got that, right? I got that, right? Right? Yeah, that was the double jump. That was the double jump. Yeah, okay. I got that, right? I guess if I didn't, I'm gonna be very upset. Thank you for the head pats, Sequoia. Ah! Thank you for the pats! I'ma save my life. Bop. Oh, that good health. Ow. Ow. I do not choose violence. Oh, shit. Okay. Okay. There we go. Another ability point. Ow. Hold on. Let me get my health back real quick. Ow. Pain. Pain, Pecco. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Yeah. I lost all that health again. I'm gonna save. Cause ha. Nope. Okay. Alright, well. I come back for that one. I like hiccuped in the middle of my sentence. Is there a V2 where hiccups? Cause it's happening. Oh my god. Oh my god. Ugh. Okay. Flippity flop flop. Flippin' floppin'. Flickin' flop. Flickin' flip. Parkour. Save. Hardcore parkour. Oh, you can't blow that up. Alright, I'm just checking. Okay, I'm dying again. Alright, well. There was an attempt. There was an attempt. I tried, and I failed. And I accept that. Oh god. And we move on. Okay. Oh, yes! There we go. Oh, we're getting all the good. Nope, okay. Never mind. Let me just do this again. Let me get that. Hopefully I don't die. I think I can do this without falling. No, I gotta fall. Okay. Okay. It's okay. Whew. It's a little tense out here, if you didn't notice. Alright. Oh, I'm all the way back now. Cool. Ow! Why do you wish violence upon me? I only wish you happiness. Even though I repeatedly attack you and ignored your cries for help. Ooh. Naruhodo. Naruhodo ne. So. Asoko ni aru. Ah, yeah. Oh, there is a way. There's a will, there's a way. No. There's a will, there's a way. Okay. There is a thingy that I'm missing. Okay. That one. That's a 4-1 that I can get. I could just go straight to the tree, but I'm gonna do that actually. Oh! Ow. Don't hit me! Don't hit me! Don't hit me! Don't hit me! Aha! How do you like them apples? You don't like them apples. Yeah, those apples are pretty sour. Because they're filled with truth. Alright, time to do the water vein. Woo woo woo. The Ginso tree. The waters of Nivel once flowed through this very tree. Now it's all rotten and dried up inside. We shall restore the flow. The Ginso's tree. The Ginso tree's heart we must find. Alright, cool. Let's find that heart, baby. And I think this is, yeah, okay. Hey. Hi. Other side of the world here. Okay. What? And I, ooh. Okay, this requires concentration. Maximum effort. How did I not get hit? What the flip flop fuckery is that? Oh god. Oh. Whoa. Oh, okay. You can't hurt it. Alright, cool. Excuse me, pardon me. Ah! Haha! Ah, okay, excuse me. Coming through. Hi. I'm just passing through. Just seeing what's up, guys. Alright. Get a little bit of health. Come over here. Bounce up the thing. Ow, god, fuck! Wow. Oh. Yes. Okay. We're making this happen. Ooh. I really should save, actually. This is only gonna go bad. This can only go one way. Terribly. Ooh. Ah! Like that. Okay. Where am I? Oh, Jesus. This is confusing. Okay. Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Give me this. Give! Huh. Push! Yeah! Yes, yes, yes. Wait, why are there two? Oh. This isn't supposed to be down here. What? Can I push this through the hole? Where's this hole go? Oh! I see! Oh! I didn't mean to do that at all. I'm a genius. I mean, I meant to do that. Yes. I totally meant to do that. I swear. I'm stuck in here. Why am I stuck in here? Oh. Because of this. Ow! Come on! Fight me! Okay, don't fight me. Wait, I take it back. He has more holes than I expected. Don't take that out of context. Ah! Yeah, yeah. You like that, don't ya? Whoop. Where am I? Oh god. Okay. I have to like look on the screen. I was like, I don't know where I am. Let me save. Woohoo! Woohoo! Ooh. Ah! Nice. That was smooth. That was really smooth. Okay. There we go. 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 Alright, I need two more. Ow. Ah! Okay, good thing I saved. Good thing I saved. This is okay, this is legitimately tricky. This is like brain confusing. Ah. Okay. Oh fuck. Okay. I don't even know if anybody can tell what's going on the stream. Like holy shit. What is even happening? Like where? Oh. No, don't go through the hole twice. Okay. We're just. Whoa. Okay. Oh! What the fuck? What is happening? Okay. 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 Hold on. Hold on. Ooh. Damn it. Okay. Okay, one more time. Oh, I love the soundtrack. Yes! Making dreams come true! Whoa, wait. Cries of dismay I hear deep inside this ancestral tree. Reem was agile. Reem! Reem's about to get reamed. Come here, you stupid tree. I mean, you lovely tree. You amazing thing of the forest. You... Yes! Ha! I love this. I love this. I love this. Wow. Okay. Okay. Bop. Bop. Uh-huh. Upsy daisy. Oh, I still got hit by that. I still got hit. Okay, I got this. I see. Can I bounce it all the way through the... It's gonna come through. Bam! Yes! Okay. We are cooking now. I like this. Ah, it came out a little wonky. Okay. That was good. That's a good one. That's a bad one. I lied. It's bad. It's very bad. Okay. It's gotta be straight. Okay. Yes! Alright. There we go. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Can you attack again, sir? Excuse me, coming through. Hi. Would you like to order some pizza? No? Okay, that's fine. You don't have to, right? It was just a suggestion. You don't have to get all spitty. Come on. Come on. Come on. Give me the good one. Give me the good one. Give me... Better. Better, but I need more. Try harder. A little bit harder. I'll try a little bit harder. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. I have so much energy now. Holy crap. I'm just flying through here. No. Attack me, I dare you. See what happens. I fly away. Bye-bye. Oh, you... I don't know. Yeah. That didn't happen. That, I was doing so well, too. I was doing so well. And then it all fell apart. Like that. Just like that. Okay. Through the hole and through the... And then over the... I don't even know what I'm talking about. Through the forest and through into the woods and through the brambles. Into the brambles. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my good god. Okay. Yes! First time. First time. First time. First time. First time's the charm. Not yet. Not yet. I'm not ready. Now I'm ready. Okay. Up we go. Alright. 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 I should probably save. I'm gonna save. There we go. That is what I wanted to do initially. That was the plan. But no. Woo! Oh, wow. Woo! Fly like a butterfly. Fly, fly like a butterfly. You know what I want to play on stream? Jet Set Radio. I'm gonna play Jet Set Radio on stream. I don't know how I'm gonna get it to work, but I'm gonna get it to work. I know it's on Steam, but I want to play Jet Set Radio Future. Okay. Alright. Alright, dude. Weak! And now you're dead. How do you like that? Wait, do I go up? Should I go up? I'm gonna go up. What is up? You. The heart of the Ginso tree. Decayed. Destroyed. Disgusting. Remove the corruption. Alright, time to remove some corruption, baby. I'm just gonna fly through here, excuse me. But you guys are just easy targets, hey. Woo! Cannon fodder. A lot of ya. Ooh, wait, I need you. Oh, can I aim that? Yes, I can. Ah. A little off, a little off, a little off. This one? This one's the one. This one's the one. No, that's not the one. This is the one. This is definitely the one. That's the one. That's the one. Alright, shoot me again. Wha! Boom! Alright. Alright. Okay. Soul Link is ready. Alright, we're going, we're going, we're going. I don't even need to kill these guys. Like, I don't need to. They're just kind of there now. You know? Oh no. Oh no. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Okay. This is gonna be hard. I'm assuming it goes up, then it goes there. Then it also has to go up again. I don't know where this goes now. Okay. Oh, where does it go? Wait, what? Oh, I have to shoot it there, and then it goes over to the right, and then it goes over to the left. Okay, I got you. Ow. I don't got you if I'm dead. Let me check over here real quick. I should have checked over here real quick. I like being alive. I like health. Alright. Let's see. Let me just bop over here. Bop over there. Bop up here. Let this weird cutscene play through again? Because they make you listen to the cutscenes when you die? Which is awful. I'm gonna save so I don't have to see that again. Oh, I miscalculated. Yes. Skills to pay the bills. And we're paying them. We are really paying those bills. That is not a good shot. That is disgusting. Give me more energy. Ow. That's too good. Too much energy. Is that a first one? Yes. Alright, let me rekindle this. Let me save. Go to the other side. Okay. This is the evil one, the one that hates me. Oh gosh, okay. I gotta get it all the way over here. Okay. I can make this happen. It'll be fine. I can make it happen. That's the wrong thing, you stupid! Oh! Ah, get out of the way! Maybe I can't make this happen. I lied. I'm terrible. Oh. Okay. There's one. There's two. There's in. There's do. Oh god, I can't make it! Forfeit. Forfeit. A lost cause. Huh. Okay. Oh, okay, just don't mess this up. Don't mess it up. Hey! There we go. That's what I'm talking about. What do I do now? Oh! 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 Oh. Oh no. Oh god, no. Oh fuck. Oh god, oh fuck. No! No! Oh fuck, I'm stuck. I'm stuck in the water. Hit me! Oh shit. Okay. Bounce! Bounce! I don't need help, I just want... Oh, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know! Oh. Oh man, what? Oh god. Oh, hello. Oh fuck. Oh fuck. Come on. Come on. Don't skimp on me now. Oh, I'm gonna grab that. Don't get greedy. Don't get greedy, Purps. Okay. No! Oh my god! Oh god! Oh fuck. Oh fuck, oh god. Come on! Whoa, whoa, whoa! Oh my fucking god. Oh god, oh fuck. No! Ah! I'm flying, I'm moving, I'm grooving. Oh! Okay. Come on! Hit me! Oh, just barely, just barely. Oh! Oh, jeez. Oh. Oh, man. Oh, that was very pog. Oh, man, that was rough. Oh, God. I'm gonna pog. I am pogging. Gorgeous. This soundtrack. Oh shit. Oh, the water is clear. Sweet baby Ori. Sweet baby Ori. Ori! It was Gumo who saved us. Gumo! The one who repeatedly tried to kill me. Nibel's waters are clear. The element of winds, resting deep in the forlorn ruins, inside the misty woods. Oh goodness. Oh good God. Can I swim? I can swim. Ah, what the fuck? Oh, like here, you can swim, but here's some piranhas. Ayo, Mims, welcome. Ayo. Woo. We just cleared one of my personally most hated levels, which is the whole water thing. But it done now. We done did it. Technically I did it, but I'll accept your help. I would play the second game. The second game's great. I'm gonna go on Ori and Resident Evil binges. Woo. I just had to start with the first one because it's an instant classic. Instant classic. Swim, Morty. Swim. Alright. Oh, okay. So there was a lot of areas I couldn't get to before because of the water. I don't know if I should go back and do those or just move on to the thing. Let me check some stuff out here real quick though. Since everything's all clean. It looks like Stitch. Does it? I guess it's in the eyes, yeah. A little bit. I don't have any of those. Yeah. Like a little bit in the eyes, yeah, I see that, yeah. Ah! Get away from me! We must go deeper. Those are bombs. Those are explosives. Ow. You're so precious. I'm gonna protect Ori, but I'm pretty sure Ori would protect me. Would protect me. Even though I feel like he's the size of like a small dog. Like, I can't be certain. I cannot be certain, but I feel like he is. Upsy daisy? Ow! Ooh. Ooh, buddy. Save. Okay. Let's not get crushed to death here. Let me grab that. Get that. Heck yeah. And survival. Ow. No. I realized it was too late, but I couldn't back out at that point, so I just had to keep going. Little sound it makes when it comes up for air. Squeezing by. Ooh, piece of candy. Give. Give me that. Haha. Okay. Yeah, that's about all here, yeah? Cool. Moving on. Hold on. Wait. That's safe. Oh yeah, I can do this. Let me go in here. Let me in. Let me in. Let me in. Piranha. At least I think they're piranhas. They seemed a bit big to be piranhas. They seem a bit chunky. Upsy daisy. Ow. There we go. Bop. Thank you. Thanks for the help, dude. Ooh, that was close. Press. What is that? What does that even mean? Press down on a D-pad? What? What does that mean? Eh? Eh? What does that symbol mean? What does that mean? I'm gonna need to look something up here. That don't make no sense to me. What does that mean? Press down. What? Helping options. Controls. I don't think I can do that. Can I? Oh no, it died. No. Oh wait, what's this? Ooh, a tree. Elo. The most powerful. Oh, now I can stomp. Ah. There you go. I was like, I'm pretty sure I can't do that. But now I can. Yeah. Oh. Nope. Not today. Not today. What do we say to the god of death? Not today. I just wanted this thing. Give me that. Coming down. Back. Back, heathen. Did I break this? Woo! Nice. Ooh. Ah! What you gonna do now, son? Ow, okay. Okay, you're still gonna hit me. Okay. You still have that ability to really fuck me up. Oh, sweet. Oh, there's a thingy. There's a thingy over there. Hey, Amori! Ow! Oh, okay. Yep. Okay. Don't ground smash that. That's not a good idea. That's not healthy for the body. None of this is healthy for the body. I can't see! Ah. jump, good jump, jump. I always messed that one up. Thank you. Woohoo! This game brings me joy. Ooh, down the hole. I mean, I knew I was going down a hole, but I didn't know how deep it was gonna be until I went inside of it, and now I know I'm dead. Now I'm all the way back here. All right, cool. Cool. I love that. That really makes me happy. Just die already. Just do the stupid map thing, do the thing where it did the thing, and then save the game, and then do this thing, and then go in the hole, and then go down this hole. And then jump over here and do ow, and then do the and then go in this hole. This isn't the same hole. This is a different hole. I picked the wrong hole. I don't want to be in here. Ah, for fuck's sake. Ah, God. Okay. Never pick the wrong hole. Ah! 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 Okay. Does this go somewhere? Oh! What? Oh, shoot! I have 4 ability cells and I haven't used any of them? Holy crap. Let me upgrade then. Yes. Yes, please. Or to breathe in water. Oh, I really need that one. I need 2 more ability cells then. Yes. Okay. Ow. Okay, I'm gonna do that. And now I get health from that. Yes. And I fell down the wrong hole again. Yay. Yes, I do come here often. Thanks for not asking. Ah. Alright. Keep on swimming, keep on swimming, keep on swimming, swimming. Oh, you're here again. I don't like you. Okay. I can do this jump without getting hurt. Apparently not. Okay. Alright. Look, I picked the right hole this time. Dreams do come true. Okay. That one to this one. Now I'm gonna save. Because I don't trust myself. Ow. Okay. Oh! What? How do you get past this without, like, hurting yourself? Ow. What the heck? Oh, like that. Apparently. Apparently like that. Ah, I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if this power-up is worth it. I don't know if it's worth it. I don't think it is. Never mind, it's worth it. I survived. It's worth it. Okay. Yonk. Oh! At least I saved. Come on, shoot me. You know you want to. You know you like it. You know you like shooting me. Aha. I can bounce off of everybody. I'm a monster. Ooh. I'm gonna go down there. Careful now. could hurt somebody. You could hurt someone with that. Okay, okay, okay. Ah, whoa, God, suicide bomber. What the hell? Okay. Alright. I'm getting too egregious here. Whoop. Egregious. Excited. Greedy. Egregious is the wrong word to use. Because I just want to use SAT words. Because I learned them and I'm like, I may as well use them. Woo! Okay, that was slick. I'm not gonna lie. That was pretty nice. Ah. Okay. Okay, big boy. Big boy. Big boy. I don't know why I didn't save here before. Okay. I knew that was coming. But I was like, nah. Let me just run right into him. Ow. Is that the area I haven't been in yet? Yeah, it is. How do I get in there? Ooh. I guess I could do that. Just take a little bit of damage. Ooh. Okay. Ah, not okay. Ow. Now that I know this comes down, I'm ready for it. Give me your powers. Let me go up. Yeah! Oh, sweet! Yeah. Let's jump out of here. And he's just gonna explode again. That's nice. You ever just explode all over the place? Wait a second. Phrasing. Phrasing. I never said this would say so, but that's not... I didn't expect to go that far. Whoa. Ooh, okay. I think I can do this. Yes. Give me all the power-ups. Okay. Go through here. Go over here. Go down here. Go over here. Yes! Door! Hey, does this go? This doesn't look safe. Oh. Oh, it's a shortcut. Neat. Okay. Now, how do I get up there? Wait, can I... You go down, go up. You go up, go down. Down goes up, and up is down. Up, what? Up is... Yes, Purps. I mean, I'm Purps. Hello, Segoy. What's happening? What? What's happening? What's happening? Is something happening? What? 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 They're like freaking out. It's freaking me out. What's going on? What's happening? They're making Ori go all weird. Look at him. He's dancing. Ah! I don't even know. Tell me what? No. No. I saw it in the other chat. It's not going to show up in the screen, but I saw it. Oh, you're going to space it out. Okay. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. I was actually excited. I was actually excited, and I'm so disappointed. Beach. See, you took the excitement I had, and then you just decided to say beans. I thought something was gonna happen. I thought something good happened. I don't know. Maybe somebody won the lottery. I don't know. But not beans. Yes, new phones are always bug. That's nice. I feel like that's not what you wanted to say. You wanted to talk about beans. I understand the desire to mention that. I don't hate you. I'm just disappointed. Which might be worse. I don't know. See, it won't let you put it in there. I see what you put in there. That's for the Nyanames. You like doing the Nyanames. I like doing them. You want to put it on there? You're just being extra. Why am I over here in this stupid hole? Ah. I'm distracted. Don't talk to me, I'm pro gaming. Ow! Well, I don't hate them. I just hate... listen. I don't hate beans. I like beans. But people keep saying it. People keep talking about beans. And that meme has gotten out of control, to be honest. And I just couldn't take it anymore. It was like Joker bad day situation. I was like, I can't deal with these beans. No, you're not gonna fight me. You don't have the beans. You don't have the cojones. You don't have the guts. Ah! Crazy frog man. Crazy frog man go burr. Goodbye. I like how you can just yeet them into space. Oh wait. Come with me, Mr. Frog. Creature. Or not. Okay, goodbye everybody. Oh no, leave me alone. Goodbye, you weirdos. Okay, I wanna go up. Bitch. You're damn right I'm a bitch. You're damn right. And I'm not gonna deny it either. Whoa! He's a guy. Wow, they do not like me, do they? Okay. Ooh. They do not like me. I need those frogs to respawn. Respawn, frogs. Ooh. Ah! I just wanted to think. Ah! Another ability point. Oh, I need 2 ability points for the breathe underwater one. That's what I want. I want that. I want that ability bad. Okay, okay. The frogs are back. Frogs are back. News in. Frogs are back. Is he coming? Hey, come over here. Hey. Hey. Oi. Hey, you. Ow. Come on. I know you can do. No, he fell again. I want to use you to move my body. Let me do it. Let me use you. Okay, so this, yeah, that's where I want to go up here, but they won't let me because the frogs are being dumb. So I'm just gonna ignore them. Who needs them anyway? They're just frogs. Frog things. Not like frogs, but like frog-like. Wow, I'm fast. Holy crap. Frog-like creatures. Ooh. This is a lot faster with this ability. I can't believe I did this without this ability at all. Oh my god. Whoop. 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 Boom. The Valley of the Wind. Ah! Oh wait. Wait, let me know. Wait, don't kill me. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Okay. I can breathe underwater now. Fuck you. Woo! Into the water. You can't get me in the water. No, fuck you. I can breathe underwater. I can stay indefinitely. All right, down in here. This won't move. Fuck you. Oh, it's fast. Sheesh. Oh. Oh my. Okay, I don't need to go back that way. That's just how I get back. Yoink. Swimming, swimming, swimming. I am amphibious. Well, maybe. Ooh. I need water. I'm talking this entire time and haven't drank any water at all. Oh, dehydration. Ow, 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 ow. Okay, keep going, keep going. Yep, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. No, you will not explode on me. I'm not gonna have it. I don't have a hydrate button. I don't have any buttons. Ow! I am buttonless. I'm buttonless. I am disgusting. Okay. Woo! Yay. Okay, where I was going? Oh yeah. Here. I'm going the right way. The feel of the air. The path to the west leads to the misty woods trail. I was gonna say musty woods. Big birdie. Kuro. Alright, meme. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate your patronage. Oh my. Oh! To be honest, I was not expecting that. Damn. Okay. Well. Let me not do that then. I gotta go. Fa. Let me not go there. That's not safe. You're not safe. You don't have enough power. Oh, that didn't do anything. Ah. It's got a glow blue. Also don't do. Wait a second, I can use you. No, wait, ooh. I have to shoot it in this, wow, that's a shot. Oh, it's going. What? I eviscerated myself. Ooh. You know what? Screw you. I don't. Oh. I was gonna say I don't need you, but I definitely need you. I lied. I need you. And I miss you. Oh. Ow. Ouch. Wow. You. Oh, God. Okay. Ooh, I made it. Ow. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. We have to distract her with a rock. The Rock Johnson. Now just don't fall. It's essentially the name of the game here. Alright, didn't fall. 10 out of 10. Did not fall. Wait, what? How are you supposed to do that? Maybe if I get one of the birds to follow me. Come on. No, come on. Come on. Sweet. Thanks, Boo. Ow. Okay, your work's done. You can stop now. Oh, he died. Oh, well. I guess that works too. Save. Bam! The feather. Let me just yoink. Wing. Oh no, I'm gonna miss it. Oh. I would just listen to this song. The Misty Woods. The Misty Woods. Ah! Your favorite power-up is the feather? Interesting. This place sounds like a Pokemon game. Ah! Ooh. Ooh. We must light the blaze. Bring the fire. Can I blow it up? No. No, I cannot blow it up. You can try. You may not succeed. Oh, that was a good violin. Whoop. Save. Ow. Oh, wait. Come here. Thank you. Ah. Oh, man, you can't see anything. Okay. That's right, because it's the Misty Woods and you can't see anything because it's the Misty Woods. That doesn't go anywhere. Okay. Woo! Calm down! Yeah. Okay. Safe. Ah. Excuse me. Pardon me. Love you, but I hate you. Goodbye. Oh, that didn't work. That did not work as planned. That did not go according to plan. Not like I ever had one to begin with. Who needs plans? Just do. Ah! Kinda hard to glide when you're being shot repeatedly. Ah! I didn't think that would kill me. Didn't think that would do it. Ooh. It's like they know. Okay. Ooh. Ow. Oh, it was the spikes that did it. I gotcha. The spikes did it to me. Up. Just try and stop me. Oh, I mean, they're really trying. To be honest, they're really fucking trying. They're trying a little too hard. Try a little less. Too much pepper on that one. Ooh. A little bit too much pepper. Alright. Oh, come on, you stinking Slug weirdos. You wouldn't want to kill little old me, would you? Oh, they really do. Woo. Just gonna glide. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm gliding. I don't know where I'm going, but I know where I've been. Oh my god. We're messed up over here. Ah! Not good. Not good. That's not good. That's not good at all. Oh. I was there the whole time? Oh. Why is everything creaking? Oh. That's right. I'm okay. Apparently, I'm losing my mind. Everything is warbly. Everything is warbly. I don't like warbly things. I prefer to stay away from the warble. Oh god. Grab. Warble. Warbled and grab. Warble grab. Okay, completely fucked that one up. Yomp. Yomp. Ow. Leave me alone! Oh my god. See, that's what you get. That's what I should have done in the first place. But no. You just had to fly at me. Let me just grab that real quick. How the heck am I supposed to get up there? Ow. Ow. What? Eh? No? Ow. Man, that sucks. You mess up the jump, it's just like all over from there. Ooh. Ha! That's what it said. Ah! I can't see. I blame it on eyeballs. Oh, for fuck's sake. I blame it on eyeballs. Blame it on my shitty eyes. That's why I have glasses. That's what I was living 800 years will do to you. Make you blind. And then you die repeatedly. Because apparently you don't know how to play the game anymore. Oh my god. Stop it. Stop it. Stop. Thank you. Thank you. That's... oh. Alright. I just want an ability point. Where does this go? Nowhere. It's a hole. It's a hole that goes nowhere. Ooh. Atsu's torch. Alright. Atsu's torch is where I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop the stream because I'm tired. I've been going for 3 hours, which is a pretty respectable time, I think. I think I've had a good time. I think I've streamed. I think I've talked. I think we've had good times. I think I've died a lot, unfortunately for me. So That's not fun. But I really like this game. I hope to play it again and play it more in the future. I don't know what is up with my cursor right now. I don't know what's happening. They're not even, like, matching. Anyway, but thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for staying and chilling and lurking. I really appreciate it. So have a wonderful night, everybody, and I will see you next time.